Good morning, 8th grade. So today we're going to be looking at the end of Progress Report 11. We want to be focusing on text structure. I know this is not in your packet, but you need to turn to this in your Flowers for Algernon or in the packet that your teacher gave you. We're going to be starting on the April 27th entry. As you're reading, please be looking for the text structure. How is the author presenting this information, or how is the author organizing this information? April 27th. I got up the nerve today to ask Miss Kinnian to have dinner with me tomorrow night to celebrate my bonus. At first, she wasn't sure it was right, but I asked Dr. Strauss, and he said it was okay. Dr. Strauss and Dr. Namor don't seem to be getting along so well. They're arguing all the time. This evening, when I came in to ask Dr. Strauss about having dinner with Miss Kinnian, I heard them shouting. Dr. Namor was saying that it was his experiment and his research, and Dr. Strauss was shouting back that he contributed just as much because he found me through Miss Kinnian, and he performed the operation. Dr. Strauss said that someday thousands of neurosurgeons might be using his technique all over the world. Dr. Namor wanted to publish the results of the experiment at the end of this month. Dr. Strauss wanted to wait a while longer to be sure. Dr. Strauss said that Dr. Namor was more interested in the chair of psychology at Princeton than he was in the experiment. Dr. Namor said that Dr. Strauss was nothing but an opportunist who was trying to ride the glory on his coattails. When I left afterwards, I found myself trembling. I don't know why for sure, but it was as if I'd seen both men clearly for the first time. I remember hearing Bert say that Dr. Namor had a shrew of a wife who was pushing him all the time to get things published so that he could become famous. Bert said that the dream of her life was to have a big shot husband. Was Dr. Strauss really trying to ride on his coattails? April 28th. I don't understand why I never noticed how beautiful Miss Kinnian really is. She has brown eyes and feathery brown hair that comes to the top of her neck. She's only 34. I think from the beginning I had the feeling that she was an unreachable genius and very, very old. Now, every time I see her, she grows younger and more lovely. We had dinner and a long talk. When she said I was coming along so fast that soon I'd be leaving her behind, I laughed. It's true, Charlie. You're already a better reader than I am. You can read a whole page at a glance, and I can only take a few lines at a time. And you remember every single word that you read. I'm lucky if I can recall the main thoughts and the general meaning. I don't feel intelligent. There are so many things I don't understand. She took out a cigarette and I lit it for her. You've got to be patient. You're accomplishing in days and weeks what it takes normal people to do in half a lifetime. That's what makes it so amazing. You're like a giant sponge now, soaking in things, facts, figures, general knowledge, and soon you'll begin to connect them too. You'll see how the different branches of learning are related. There are many levels, Charlie, like steps on a giant ladder that take you up higher and higher to see more and more of the world around you. I can only see a little bit of that, Charlie, and I won't go much higher than I am now. But you'll keep climbing up and see more and more, and each step will open new worlds that you'll never even know existed. She frowns. I just hope to God. What? Never mind, Charles. I just hope I wasn't wrong to advise you to go into this in the first place. I laughed. How could that be? It worked, didn't it? Even Algernon is still smart. We sat there silently for a while, and I knew what she was thinking about as she watched me toying with the chain of my rabbit's foot and my keys. I didn't want to think of the possibility any more than elderly people wanted to think of death. I knew that this was only the beginning. I knew what she meant about levels because I'd seen some of them already. The thought of leaving her behind made me sad. I'm in love with Miss Kinnian. So now we're going to go to our packet and look at our big idea question. How does text genre shape our experience as readers, and or our understanding of an author's purpose. So we're going to look at both Flowers for Algernon and Phineas Gage. So think about what I'm saying for your class notes and then add to your own notes. So some of our text structures that we've seen are cause and effect, compare and contrast. I'm going to add chronological, which means order in the events that they occur. Cause and effect are what happens and why. And compare and contrast is obviously showing the differences and the similarities. Chronological is the order of events in which they occur. First, then, next, finally. Add any type of text structure that you know into the My Notes section. We also want to consider how an author presents or develops a text. So, point of view. An author can develop this in first, third omniscient, third limited, but the way that an author presents a text has to do with how the text is perceived and what structure it's in and what it means. Eyewitness accounts means people seeing it firsthand. Descriptions are obviously a description. Directly addressing the reader is when the author talks to you directly. A diary format, which is like Flowers for Algernon, where he's kind of writing to us. Inner dialogue, what happens inside of a character's head. Expert opinions is the advice or the quotes from someone who has a lot of knowledge on this topic. Historical facts go back in time, and text features are things like pictures, graphs, diagrams. So those are all some things that you might see. Go ahead and fill in whatever you can on My Notes and any of these. Good luck.